Red Bull gives you wings.
Stephanie with the swing back with a double kill, 3 into the round. Juliana with 4 kills in the round.
And they just spam it! I stay fit, I stay focused, no promotion.
And Kinsey has to hold it in the sight. Make that even a third.
Well, it's been a few days, but everything good is worth waiting for. Welcome back to VCT Game Changers NA Series 2 presented by Verizon. Through all of the qualifiers, only 8 teams remain, and now it's time to get started with the main event to see who is going to be the Game Changers Series 2 champions. I'm Sierra Dawn here for as long as the storm is allowing me to outside, and joining me on the desk, I have the wonderful Bach and Van Silly. Hello, Vance, what's up?
What's up? I'm doing good. I guess Mark didn't want to show his face, but I'm doing great. I'm doing great today. I thought, Mark, you said we wanted to have some fun today, so we're definitely going to start with some great fun. What just happened to your face?
My camera just broke. It literally just stopped working as soon as the show started. We're bound for fun. Given that, Sierra, you're saying there's a storm brewing. Apparently, I have one in my computer. Vans, you need to break something too, just so you can fit in with the rest of us.
No, don't break something. I don't think production can handle that. Vance.
I'm in karaoke mode, and you just said break stuff, and I was about to do some Limp Bizkit, so
I don't think that's stream appropriate. Do the radio edit.
I'll just try to stay normal for now.
All right, you know what is stream appropriate though? Talking about this wonderful event that we have ahead of us. We have waited a long time, by that I mean a couple of days, to get started with the main event portion of this event. And we have 8 very deserving teams here in our top bracket that are going to be battling it out over the next few days to see who the champions are going to be. There's a nice mix of names here. A lot of them, Bach, we've gotten to see before in the past. They've been known as the titans of the scene. And it's really nice to see a couple of faces that we know, but make it this far.
Of course, like everyone wants to see some of the repeats. You want to see V1 playing. You want to see Shopify Rebellion as well. Obviously, we'll get another taste of XSET, EG, and FaZe. We do have Disguise playing, but it's a different roster that we saw from them the last time. One could argue maybe a little bit more of a competitive team than the last time we saw them around, as they did field more of a content creator team. This one definitely seeming to rise to the occasion a little bit more. The surprising one is in that upper match, Vans. You've got Overkill Black, largely unknown. It's sort of just a team, if you don't pay attention to the tier 2 scene, looking at the Game Changer circuit, it's a team that kind of just slides in under the radar.
Every time we have a Game Changers top 8, there's like, okay, some CLG Red, now FlyQuest, or where's Valaris, or where's Team Karma right now, where's Gen G, and who's Overkill Black? Just a team that's been, I guess, on the up and up, very much so like the regular circuit when you're trying to play into all of these night weeklies. And apparently they've been playing on a lot of these Sakura Cups and just gaining that experience. And now it's good enough to have their team represented now in the top 8 of the Game Changers. So this is really exciting. I hope that they're going to make it far enough so that we can actually get it covered, some coverage on this stream, so we can see what they're all about.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it too. Like you have FlyQuest Red. You have, the teams that are alternate teams for other orgs. Who is Overkill at all? Like, we don't know who Overkill is. Why do they have Overkill Black? Is that just the name of the org, or is there another Overkill roster? Because if there is, I'm not familiar with them. So it certainly is something that's interesting. Obviously, the Dark Horse, you'd love to see that. Vance, I know how much you love an underdog story.
Yep.
And they're definitely matched up against an incredible opponent in V1, arguably the best team in the bracket.
Yeah, that's definitely a difficult way to start things off, going up against V1, who we've known to be such a strong team. But I really do hope that we get to see Overkill at a later time, because making it this far is definitely no easy feat. Focusing in on our first match of the day, though, we gotta put those two aside, and instead reopen the conversation about Disguise, as they're gonna be facing XSET here in our upper quarterfinals. XSET, of course, when we're talking about this team, this is one of the teams that is familiar to us. Looking back at Game Changers 1 here, Vans, where they made quite a run.
Yeah, they made a tremendous run, actually, getting third in that Game Changers Series 1, and at the same time having maybe one slight change in the roster, now bringing in their sub, Soto, as their 5th player now, and it doesn't really seem like they really let go of any of that momentum from Game Changers 1, still doing very good, still powering through the Open Qualifiers, making it to the top 8, but of course, when you're looking at this core, I mean, you can't really avoid the storyline of, you know, some of the players that are main core of Cloud9 coming in this roster now and still being able to put a good impact with a different roster. Yes, it would have been nice to still see a continuous Cloud9 white rosters this time around, but as they split up, it doesn't really seem that nobody was really a weak link in that team, and there's still a huge impact to the current rosters.
And the storyline, whenever you talk about XSET as a team, whether you're talking about this roster or the roster that competed in VCT, was, you know, always surprised me. They never quite made it to the end, to that penultimate position that we wanted to see them in, and hopefully that doesn't happen here again. As you mentioned, they did play in Series 1, where they walked away with an exit in the lower finals after a loss to Shopify Rebellion, which is not a bad finish whatsoever. 3rd place is not that bad, but it's just not what this team wants. It's not the success that they're trying to find, and hopefully this time around they can make a deeper run and make it into that grand final.
Especially, too, when we're looking at these teams that formed at Game Changers 1 as pieces of other teams scattered. I'm really excited, too, to see the progress moving on forward as teams now have started to get a little bit more time, getting a little bit more prepared for Game Changer Series 2, and things kind of blending together here, Vans, as performance in GC2 so far has been really good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As I mentioned before, it doesn't feel like they've really let the pace from their Game Changers Series 1 with the previous iteration that they had. Of course, it's only one player changing over, but that player is adding a lot of impact, being Soto. I'm pretty sure still filling up that role of like that sentinel that they have for XSET, and now you have the extra firepower onto that. Not saying that the last person that they replaced was, you know, not filling the gap or filling the shoes that was needed for XSET, but sometimes some changes is needed, and when you're seeing that there's still continuous improvement, you know you're heading towards the right direction when the core is still together and the core is still putting up some good numbers.
Well, if we're talking about a team with changes, well then we gotta talk about Disguise, because as Vox, you mentioned, we did get to see Disguise before in Game Changers 1, but it was a completely different roster, as, you know, we got some huge names coming out there, and unfortunately didn't end up going all the way. But this time, the team has made a massive shift, and this roster, despite how little time they've been together, has been making waves in Series 2 so far.
I'm really interested to see what this team's going to do now that they make it to bracket play. This team has probably some of the most bizarre agent compositions you've ever seen for a team that has largely just been thrown together. The core of the team has played in some events. You've got 3 players who played in like Astral Clash, a Knight's Gauntlet here and there. Lazy Lion, a former teammate of Demon 1. Katarina coming in from VX, one of the stars players on that roster at one point in time. There's certainly a little bit more power here than what we saw in the previous DSG roster, and that's what I want to see from them as they make their way through the bracket. The problem is, it was definitely a difficult journey to get this far. When you look at the teams coming into this event, 2 teams played a heaping helping of maps and rounds, and DSG was one of them. 289 rounds played to make it to this point. So obviously it was not an easy journey, but there's still hope, right? Like, they made it this far. Every game, it felt like they were improving. I have my hopes held out for them.
They're the reason why my voice still sounds like it's a little shot, because I had to cast that DSG versus FlyQuest, and that Haven game was insane from like clutch to clutch. And as we're looking through the agent pool of what Unstable brings to the table is quite interesting, because yes, it's a plethora of different agents, mainly around duelists, but the duelists that Unstable's using, they're all different weird agents that you don't really see today. Well, I guess we kind of did start seeing some Uriel and Bind here during the VCTs. Phoenix, Unstable, they're bringing the comeback of that agent on Pearl. But overall, I want to just piggyback on what Mark was saying. In terms of a roster that's been just thrown together to still make it into the top 8 now, when the previous iteration used a pro player in Tupperware who had IGL experience, right? You're looking at this roster now, it's Katarina, IGLing for this team. And Katarina, you first heard about her when she was playing under the version X banner, trialing when Mel was the IGL. So you never really thought that somebody cracked out as Katarina in terms of aim would be the person that would also be IGLing for our team, and those numbers haven't been dropping. Maybe a tad during the open qualifiers of Game Changers because Katarina was sick. I remember the 101 fever that was tweeted out with broken headphones, yet still making a good impact and understanding really how to move the pieces around for her team so that they're getting the best results as possible. So top 8. I mean, that's what Toast said. They wanted to at least make it into the top 8 for this event. They did, and now if they make it even further, it's all gravy. It's all just one-ups and just extra perks that you get here within the Game Changer Series 2.
How often do you see a team with like a duelist as your IGL? And not just a duelist necessarily. Maybe you could play a Raze, you can play back a little bit, play a little bit differently. It's primarily dive agents like a Jet. And then they combo it with like a Reyna or a Yoru and a Raze. They have such strange combinations. They love the double duelist composition. It seems to work out really nicely for them, as it is Katarina. And usually it's usually Katarina and Unstable who are running the double duelist composition, but they also kind of surround it with some bizarre pieces. It seems like everyone is kind of changing whatever they play based on the way they feel coming into the map. It's like a vibe check moment. That does make me kind of interested how things are going to roll today. Are they going to continue to do this more liquidious, I guess we'll say? It's constantly evolving. It's like the ocean. As the tides come and go, as it ebbs and flows, they change their agent comps. Are we going to see more of that? And we haven't even seen maps played. We haven't seen them play Lotus yet. So what happens if we end up on that map? Will we see them do something even a little bit more bizarre?
It's interesting because at every stage in the competition, we've gotten to see the maps change up just a little bit with how they like to be playing them. So I'm intrigued heading into our top 8. If a couple of the ones that we know coming out from DSG will have a different look to them, as we're going to be starting off on Pearl. This has been one that they've liked picking up, and it's also one of those maps that we have seen that change in agent composition, where we got to see before bans, it was this Yoru coming out, and then they switched it over to Phoenix.
Yeah. And Yoru's not a bad pick for the map, but definitely Phoenix bringing back like the Cloud9 style pretty much with how aggressive Zelsis was on that agent on that map. I do like it though for both of these teams. I feel for me, it just depended who wanted to float that map, right? Because XSET is also very comfortable on that map too. I think currently being 3-0. And the play styles are very different on both ends. You have XSET that's playing a double initiator with a KO and a Silva, whilst DSG, they're playing just double duelists most of the time. So it's info gathering versus a brute forcing, and it's that push and pull to see who will have that better type of synergy and the type of chemistry and who basically has that better meta from how we're going to study through this map.
I mean, obviously, one of the major concerns is XSET is just a very good team across the maps that we've already seen them play, and potentially even on the maps we haven't seen them play. 100% win rates across the board. They had one of the fastest runs to make it this far. It definitely makes them a bit of a scary team. I kind of like the Yoru pick. I like the idea of going unconventional. How else can you potentially give yourself an advantage playing against a team who's clearly well-drilled, well-rehearsed, than throwing something in that is unconventional? Catch them off guard. Do something that's a little bit different. I love the idea of taking a dice roll and a gamble. We saw that even going back to the Ascension event with teams like Fusion that came in who are like, okay, we're going to run comps you've never seen us run before on maps we've never even played. And it almost worked. Like, you have to applaud the creativity. But I want to see them try to maybe catch them off guard, because obviously you are coming in with a heavy disadvantage given that you just haven't had as much time to work together. And now that you're hitting bracket play, everything has to be tight. You can't have any looseness to your play. It has to work well.
I mean, you're talking about catching them off guard with this Yoru or something, but the thing is, too, when you're looking at Disguise, then when it's a team that likes having these unconventional picks, it is something that there is tape on. There is this Yoru over on Pearl over a couple of maps. So I feel like, too, when we're looking at XSET here, Vance, they're, I think, going to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, but the end of the day, too, for DSG is as they're coming out with unprepared, or not necessarily unprepared, but unconventional compositions, it still comes down to they have great players that could shoot. You know, you're talking about the Unstables, you're talking about the Katarinas. They could actually just really fight. And Lazy Lion, I also remember, is another one of those players where it came down to very tight rounds on the Haven. They were just able to clutch a 3 versus 1, not really putting up big numbers under kill feed when it comes down to the regular rounds. But when that player has to step up, they definitely do it. Which is why, like, yes, it could be prepared when it comes down to how they could maybe run their executions onto the sights and have the right angles, but when you're just flicking shots the way that Katarina and Staple do, you just have to be more on point on shooting back.
Well, going into our agent select for our first map of Pearl, looking on the side of XSET, very strong agents for each of those players. And then going back over to Disguise here, Bach, we're going to see the double duelist, and it is not going to be the Euro. We will stick with the Phoenix here.
I mean, it's fine. You know, at the end of the day, this is something that, you know, teams at this level of play are going to expect. And we actually see quite a few teams run this composition now in more recent history, especially when you look at like the qualifier stats. There's a lot of teams who are running a Phoenix on this map. I do think there is viability to Phoenix on the map. I love the way that you can take a little bit more aggressive control of mid through doors with the flashes that you can throw out. The curveball is definitely a little bit more powerful in those positions. I am curious to see how Disguise is able to make it work against a team that is going to be maybe a little bit more prepared for those types of setups, not easily caught off guard by something that is quote unquote predictable.
The composition itself, though, for XSET is just so much information, right? Double initiator and a cipher. So a winning condition here for DSG is to really try to avoid the early initiation, the early utility out of those initiators, and break that cipher utility to work the map. If not, they're going to be running into a lot of traps.
Well, it's going to be all the information against the team that always keeps us on our toes here in our first map in the upper quarterfinals. And to take you through that, take you through Pearl, well, it's time to head over to Mimi and Wyatt.
Thanks very much, Sierra. Yes, Wyatt, I'm super excited to get into this one. A lot of history of the players out on XSET, but for DSG, very much the new kid on the block here at Game Changers in the main event. But we're starting on Pearl, and I think the composition's going to be really exciting to take a look at. You got a Phoenix on one side versus what might be becoming the new standard with that Sova KO on the other.
Yeah, absolutely. XSET are running a comp we've been seeing in the meta a lot recently in tournaments all around the scene. Disguise, though, that is a very unorthodox comp. Looking at it on paper, you would think it would be an excellent counter to what the meta has been for most of 2023 on Pearl, where you're running into the double controller. Having all those flashes to get around walls is really nice, but we've seen that Phoenix has been low-key and effective agent on this map for some time, too.
And one of its strengths is in main control and harvesting up these orbs, and that looks like the destination early on. DSG is set up to avoid this start. They'll just time this one out and then likely walk their way into A. But that orb they were searching for already being taken here by Bunny B. Question is, will they spot off anything more? 2 players spotted, and Bunny falls away.
Gonna get some valuable information. Those DSG players slowly grouping up towards A main, just walking it forward. But that contact from Bunny B does bring in 2 rotates from her teammates, so very reasonable that XSET could hold off this site hit that looks to be coming in.
Very well timed to stall that one out with the KO knife, and damage done off the shock darts as well. 2 players knocked low, and the KO nade now stalling out as well. Minute still for DSG to work with, but they used a lot of the big tools on that initial attempt and are now going to be forced to reset.
They take a lot of damage through those smokes as well. You can see 3 of their players at less than half HP. Time dwindling, still enough to make a nice set execute happen. They're rotating back through mid to go for this A split. But XSET have not bought a rotation. Well, actually, as I say that, with this silence being so present, they're actually going to fall all the way off. And now the site exec is going to come in. It's Bunny B and Rise in the back to hold us at bay.
Still, that low HP could become a big factor here. Bunny around the side falls to Hannah, swinging before any of her teammates would fall there. Bob close spots one out. Can she get more? Double for Bob. Third clean taps on the ghost for her to shut this one down. Lazy Lions alone, and there's just no shot at that one. Feels like the round for DSG was lost after that initial attempt at the execute on Ek.
They tried to slow it down and make it work, but as that site hit came in, I mean, who better than Bob to kick us off with 4 ghost headshots straight away? Genuinely always in contention for the best player in the Game Changers scene since beginning last year with that C9 white squad. Bob is just so talented on these initiator roles.
And for her and for this whole team, the expectations are high. 1 roster change heading into this Game Changers. But remember, last time, 3rd place, nearly missing out. A close overtime game versus Shopify to not make it to the finals. This is the team that it feels like, for the first time in ages, could contend with those 2 top spots in GC. But that's still a run away. This round, though, should be a bit of a formality. DSG not making any investments into this one.
Yeah, XSET know exactly where they are. They've got the superior weaponry. This should be a fairly standard, simple round win from this point on. DSG, that upcoming team going up against one of the titans of the North American game changer scene in XSET. 3 players who've really never been on a big signed roster before either. An Unstable, Lazy Lion, Misu, a real opportunity for them to make a name for themselves in the scene.
For those 2 other players as well, it's kind of a chance of redemption. They've always been around the scene for Katarina and for Hannah as well, but have never really been on that squad who really could contend towards the top spots. Lides was talking about that for DSG, the goal was to make it to the main event, find themselves in top 8. They've done that. The question is, what can they get done now? It's the first rifle round up for Disguised, and XSET will be playing the full bonus here. Kept a nice clean round on the second. And again, as I would expect a lot of this half will be, it's a priority on getting that A main orb and control towards this area of the map for the Phoenix.
It doesn't look like XSET are going to go for anything particularly aggressive with this mostly SMG buy that they've saved into this round, and that could be fruitful for DSG. They've got rifles all the way across the board. 5 Vandals, of course, going to be good in these ranged duels, and if they can keep the range, and they're in the place for it, B long is exactly the spot you want to be with the gun advantage. It seems like a great opportunity to take this round away.
Yeah, and to Pearl as well. The changes coming in really allows you to play these solo Astra comps in Anchor, but Cat didn't really have much more. Stall that one out. Bunnybee, though, let's find a nice kill there. Wallbang, I believe, just spamming through the smoke onto Lazy Lion, and this hit really has slowed down. Misu is all but out of stars, has 1 more to pop up and try and provide more smoke for her team, but it's going to be a bit of a timing until that one comes back. Now online, Plant will be committed. Does XSET just want to flood though? That dart already committed, but not finding any information off of it. We'll have to wait again for a bit more utility to come. Pop flash into the backside. Misu holding Katarina here as well, and it's a cleanup thus far. XSET still kind of working through the first stage of this retake attempt to find another kill for Katsumi. 3 versus 3 now as it evens out, but these positions are still good for DSG. The initial stage done. Now they can pull back a little bit, but that plant is imperfect. Around the corner, they'll have to fight. It's a deep commitment for Misu. They need to take down Cat, but that spike isn't half. It won't matter though, because Cat around the side comes through with the Spectre, and XSET pick up the bonus.
That is a brutal round loss for DSG. You're really hoping they can take that one down with the significantly superior weapons, full armors across the board as well. They lost that initial pick. I mean, unlucky, frankly, that Bunnybee gets 2 Marshall shots full blind behind a smoke to stop that early plant. They try to slow it down after that. They had decent crossfires as well. They just couldn't win the crucial duels.
Brutal one to lose there. For XSET now, they're already in a great direction here. The alt economy in a good place and money up for them. I'm interested to see how this Cypher plays a role continuing into this half. We've already seen 2 different setups in use. This one heavier anchoring towards the A site. And DSG will again send it fast towards A main and give themselves another orb closer to that Phoenix ultimate.
And at this point, you have to look at the economy. It's going to be a massive factor early into this half. XSET recovered several rifles on that previous round, and you can just see across the board, their money is insane. They've already got ultimates in play. DSG are frankly in trouble here early on. At the very least, if they can do some damage this round, that would net even just a little bit for them to try and get back in this.
A big investment there from XSET. Bladestorm and that Hunter's Fury put into this one, and Bob will harvest things up with her ultimate to close, but it is still a clean round there, 4-0, the continuation for XSET. DSG, with this composition, seem to be having to put a lot of priority when they're going for these A-side hits into the splits. We've seen it twice now, because the stall utility for XSET is really strong in this comp. You have the Astra who can anchor their solo, the Cypher who can anchor their solo, and 2 Initiators who will be really mobile to help add even more util to stall you out. It plays differently than the Harbor Viper, but it still is quite difficult to attack against.
Bunnybee is going to be picking up this op, expecting the DSG are going to try to get the orb. They have 2 players close to that ultimate. I love this read here from XSET, the way that they're playing around B. An opportunity for Unstable, not going to be able to capitalize. They just got those Seekers from the orb. They're going to be popped, but they're actually stopped a bit by that Astra suck, and it's DSG trying to fight through the smoke. It's so tough to do that on this new Pearl. They are going to manage to break through that barrier, though, and get the plant in 4-on-3. Massive opportunity here. And if they really want to lock this round down, they have a lockdown from Hannah.
But you see, again, DSG, with this plant position, are forced to stay close to the site and actually only have one player in the backhauls. It's Katarina alone, so it might come down to a similar situation as the bonus. Can they find a different outcome this time? Soto taken down. It's Odin on Odin as Miso holds the line well. That'll further deny this retake from pushing in. Bob has the dart online, but Katarina perfectly timed on the swing. She'll collect 3 and claim DSG's first round.
Lovely spray transfer from Katarina. Such a crucial round from DSG, and XSET were set up for that as well. So fair play for DSG to actually break through what looked to be an ironclad defense from XSET, and such a crucial round to win. Maybe that economic advantage was really going to be ineffable if they couldn't put that one together.
Lockdown and the Phoenix Ultimate online. Big tools for DSG in this one to maybe make a string of rounds out of that initial pickup.
And DSG, they still have, again, they were able to save Hannah's ult. It wasn't necessary, so now they could go for an execute with this Phoenix ult, maybe save that lockdown for the post plant to get a second. And now, to keep talking about the economy, but it did become really important early on here with XSET winning that bonus. They're going to put XSET in a position where that economy could be broken.
4 players, though, towards the A side of the map for XSET. So in position, they have a read that this is likely where the finish will be, especially after 2 players spotted on that night. Phoenix ult is up and unstable. Interesting pathing, actually going to wrap back around, initially clear the staircase before pushing into backside. That's information, but no kills picked up. Still, a lot of utility stalled out, but notice that star on the map. There's still one more piece left for DSG to be held at bay, but it soon will fall. But Bunny B has arrived. Operator on the angle and Soto down by Katarina. It's similar to the last round where DSG taking their time, a nice 2-stage execute to get themselves into a post plan.
Yeah, nice and slow, methodical from DSG. Despite that double duelist comp, they're really not rushing things at all. Lazy Lion and a duel on the site. Gonna be in trouble, but 1 for 1, you'll take that, especially when you have the lockdown in play. Gonna delay even further, and XSET, they're gonna be on a time crunch if they try to win this out with a retake.
Do they even commit to it? Stars, none left really for Katsumi, and no dart up for Bob. This just has to be the fights. Cat's already down. Bunny B will try and find another as she hops on the angle, but there's no tap in time, and DSG have this one in the bag. Bunny B will try to run and looks to be able to get this operator into the next round. Still, it's DSG winning again.
Blocking sight.
They needed that. They definitely needed that. They're getting right back into the game, though. You love to see this. In some of those previous DSG games that we'd seen against EG, they struggled when they lost the momentum early. But right here, they're bringing it right back. They've shown fair mental resilience as well. They've made some solid attempts at comebacks. In that game I previously mentioned, we're going to see what XSET are going to do here with the buy. Saving that operator, it's pretty reasonable, actually, that they can force into this.
A good one for them to pick up. DSG will invest in an operator of their own. That makes me think we might get a bit of a slower round here, as you actually see Katarina solo towards that east site, applying containment over there. And these comps without the Viper, a lot of the way you used to play towards B has to be changed up a little bit. And you sometimes will see a Jet or an Astra soloing that space and not really able to push in the same way you could with Harbor Viper.
2 very talented operas on this DSG side. We've seen Katarina pick it up and make magic happen. Same in the hands of Unstable. They're uncommon for your Phoenix to be doing that, so I suspect we'll mostly see Katarina on operator duty throughout this map. And DSG on attack, they've shown a willingness to really be methodical. That seems to be the approach of their IGL and duelist star, Katarina, picking up both of those critical roles for any team.
And when the Jet's opping, when your IGL is opping, I think that can also tend to slow the pace down a little bit. You want to take your time in this round, get her posted on an angle, and see what you can find in the mid-round. But thus far, I don't think any of the real key factors have been found. All of that Cypher util is still up, and there's still plenty of util on both of these sites to stall out. So it might, despite this slower round, still end up with kind of a flippy last-second
30
execute.
seconds left.
DSG were able to draw some rotates over to A, though. This B side is rather weak. The time is so low, but there's no players actually entrenched into the site. They don't have to worry about anyone swinging from halls. It's just Bunny B. And if they get smoked off, even with 15 seconds, this is a decent situation from DSG. That one pick for Bunny B, though, could stall everything out. With 8 seconds, Lazy Lion is going to need a lot of help here. That flash is well timed, but the shot is going to seal the deal. The round is over.
There's no chance of it. Spikes on the ground, no time to plant. It's Bob's shock darts and the close range shotgun from the jet of Bunny B to shut that one down. A bit of a fumble there from DSG. I mean, looking almost Carmen Core-esque. You hold your default for most of the round, don't find much information towards that site. And while they had pulled a few rotates early, it's not enough to shut down towards B. And there's still plenty of util for XSET to play with.
Encumbered by their own mid-round calling, frankly. They did a nice job of drawing some of those rotates to A, but that was one of the situations which, frankly, we haven't seen often with their calling. They like to play slow despite having a double duelist. They usually don't play too slow, though, where it's a detriment like that.
They will go faster in this one, though, for DSG. Fast down B long, using that Phoenix wall to scale with the flash out from behind it, like the ideas we've seen from DSG in this composition thus far. And this is where that double duelist comp can be good. Flasher on the corner, it's Katarina up top, and no one from XSET here to contest, so this should fall to a retake.
We've seen Katarina be very partial to the Bucky in some of these matches previously, but with the knives up as well, you can certainly understand why that buy came in. The Astra Wall is going to go up. Going to be very significant for this 5-on-5 retake.
Flash and drone already through in the backside. It's unstable, holding down 4-2. Molly to stall out a little bit more. And XSET just getting mowed down on this push through the Astra Wall. Cats alone, just an operator in her hands and no shot at closing this one out. Katarina might even go on the hunt here. Off is running. And Unstable is hunting. A third kill for the Phoenix and a third round for DSG.
Finally able to get the off out of the hands of XSET. Gonna pick that one back up. Both sides like opping quite a bit. And that's Katsumi back on her original role, basically full time now. She was playing a lot of Duelist earlier on in this year when we saw XSET competing in Game Changers 1, where they made it all the way to that lower final, narrowly losing out to Shopify for the first time maybe ever in Bob and Katsumi's run in North American Game Changers that they weren't in a final.
Yeah, it never happens with those two. It's really that pedigree of success. But this time, it's an attempt at a pace change for XSET. They wanted to push through, and that combo is beautiful from DSG. They've conditioned that Phoenix Molly every single round, and XSET at times have disrespected it. Here, when Bunny B is one off of the Blade Storm, they combine it with that Molly from the Killjoy and the Suck from the Astra to just find a brutal combo that has already put him in a winning position.
I love what I'm seeing from DSG in these last 2 rounds, that Fnatic-esque play. This defensive wall is going to come up, though, and really keep that DSG team at bay. They're going to try to scale off the wall. Excellent pick from Soto, defending back halls here, trying to get that Cypher ult off. We've all been there, baby.
Yeah, can't find it for him. Bob is here as well, finds 2 on the Guardian. Clean shots out of Bob, Lazy Lion. Trades things back into a 2 versus 2, and Bunny B's knives go flying awry. Left and right of these players out long from DSG. They'll slow things down, though. Contact deep into the site. Bunny B unsuspecting. Where is Cat? They're not aware. They line up, but Hannah whips around at the last second, and with a 3K, converts the round for DSG.
DSG are firmly back in the game at this point. Again, I love the last 2 rounds. That cheeky play on the previous for the opening pick. The one before that, that fast hit onto B, something they hadn't done up until this point. And by now, they've won a lot more rifle rounds than the XSET side. Certainly not something you would expect. But right now, putting on a clinic on this Pearl attack, a map that they've done great on so far, but XSET have too. Both of these teams in Game Changers 2 have a number of wins on this map.
Hey.
Been a strong one for both, but DSG getting this momentum on the attacking side is huge. Unstable, second Phoenix ult for them, and it's just against an anti-eco. But with Phoenix, I honestly don't hate investing ultimates whenever you get the chance. There's only 2 rounds left, and so plenty of time to harvest up those orbs and make sure you hold this advantage cleanly. It's actually, talk of ults, one invested from the team on an eco. Bob, how does she find so consistently success with that ultimate? This eco round could fall apart now. Kill with the ult, a headshot for Soto in backside, and still looking for more. Swing is well timed, but Unstable's movement is better. Still an advantage gained back for DSG. 3v3, they've got the guns, but XSET got that no command on their side, trying to stall this one out. But I stuck close around the pillar, and unstable taking heads. Cat goes down. And what was once risky looks challenging to close for the side of XSET. Seekers have to be used, and Rise has no shot to close that one out. Only Bob left in a 1 versus 3. She's good, but there's just no chance of this one. 4K for Unstable, the savior of the anti-eco.
The firepower on DSG is just outrageous between these two star duelists that they've fielded on the roster. That aside, though, for a team this fresh, the calling on these rounds, the team play is excellent. They are one of the best teams that I've watched in this tournament so far at managing the pace of rounds, slowing it down when it's necessary, and at other times speeding it up when it's crucial to take areas of the map. They've really been excellent on that front, and it's very, very impressive.
Coaches coming into the conversation here, XSET making sure they can close out these last 2 rounds. What was once a really heavy lead off of winning that bonus round has started to slip away in this half, but Danimal and the experience from the players on XSET can find them that adaptation to recover here.
Yeah, absolutely. Experienced coaches on both sides, XSET and the opposition. XSET certainly no shortage of experience with this entire roster, really Soto being the only exception. A lot of competitive Valorant matches played, but their first time competing on a big signed roster like this, really the biggest opportunity that they've had in their career up until this point.
And with Soto coming in, you can see the progress of Bunny B from a player who came in kind of end of last year with XSET and with still really this young, new prospect that people were excited for. I think they really have proven themselves with XSET's runs in the last 2 game changers last year and with their 3rd place finish to start this one. They've been consistently great, but another source of firepower on that XSET squad cannot hurt, as it will be a pretty pivotal round here. Economy on the line for XSET, and Bunny B, as we've seen in many rounds before, getting a little bit caught out here in A main. The Astro pull is good, but no one was close enough to punish, and this might just turn into a fast execute. Run it back pop for Unstable. Flash around the corner. The Molly will deny anyone else from scaling besides this Jet, but the duelists are in, and that's what matters. Katarina passed around the side, following up the ultimate from her teammate, and claims Rise cut it out. That second player too, and Bunny B is low on HP. Bobbing time to support before Bunny falls. It is an even situation here as a spike gets planted. Do XSET want to fight? Do they want to make this one a flood retake? They've already found Lazy Lion, so maybe hope of that going through. The round slows. Are already committed, so no big util to get this one going for XSET. But DSG want to make a play, and Hannah is unable to find it. As she swings around the corner, she leaves Katarina alone. Versus 3. Tucked close on the site, no util to get out. It's just her aim trying to save this one, but it's not going to happen. Katsumi finishes it off. A 6th round for XSET.
I loved the hit from DSG, frankly. Unstable. That ultimate was so good at creating space. Katarina able to capitalize off of that by dashing in, swinging deep left. But XSET well played with that retake. The vortex of utility that was keeping them at bay for, keeping that disguise at bay for a bit, and then just pushing back in together, trading out properly. Disguise kind of forced to take duels there. You could see Hannah wanted to find a cheeky pick to even the odds, but gonna be so tough in that situation. One final round to see if DSG can even things up, but still, this half, I consider it a rally back, just given how dominant the opening was for XSET. You know, on the DSG side, you have to be pretty content with how the rest of this has gone.
You've gotta be. Again, so much fight around this orb. Bunny B, same as last round. Gonna take some liberties. This time, has that dash to get away. Will she get caught though? Flashes from both sides, updraft around the corner. Bunny B, it really is just a repeat of last round. Unstable this time though, will slow. Wait for that dog. Now she'll commit on through, and caught off guard is Bunny B. Down goes the Jet, but Rise is here now alone. Only a Bulldog in her hands, and Katarina again finding great pathing of the fall of her Phoenix to claim a site for DSG. The difference maker in this round though could be Bob, already working her way slowly on this one.
It can't be understated how excellent these DSG duelists have been at entering on these site execs, and I love how the squad is also managing their ultimate economy. giving Hannah that plant on this round to get the lockdown in, further delay. They've been excellent at that aspect of the game. And now the whole team just grouping up towards Art. They have a flash to play off of, a couple mollies from Hannah, which have gone onto the spike just now to even further delay. You can see this wraparound from Katarina as well. Katsumi trying to get on the spike, hold off. This utility from DSG is just excellent. Another molly coming in, the spam now coming through, the plant for Art. Just excellent play from DSG across the board. What an absolutely sublime round for them. They do not look like a new team at all, maybe.
No, they do not. In particular, I think the way these two duelists path together is just sublime on those executes. It's always unstable going in first, pathing normally to that far right side, be it in the ult or just running through with a flash, and then Katarina is dashing past where her Phoenix is, and while they're running away from the flashes, Katarina's able to punish. It's great work from DSG to bring this one 6-6, but now the sides will swap. Another pistol round on the cards here, and the question becomes, how is this Phoenix going to play on the defensive side? And something tells me it's going to continue to be a lot of fight for A main control.
It feels like up until this point, DSG have gotten every ult orb every single round, and it looks like that's how they want to begin their defensive half as well. They're taking A main control, but the attackers are just going to go for this fast B hit. A staple of Pearl, as you can see, that one defender, Katarina, is just going to back off. The DSG side are going to opt to play for a full retake.
Double reflank already being committed here for DSG, so might take them a bit to work their way into this retake. These two players, it's Misu and Unstable, will now pick up the pace a little bit. Have to break a Cypher tripwire and telegraph their play. What timing do they choose? Will they be the first pawn of the attack, or will they wait for their teammates on the site? No, instantly breaking that trip. So XSET's defenses have to be separated. 2 go back to contend, while 3 stick around. Tanker close on the side. As the dog comes in, and Stars are ready to retake back holds. It becomes this ping pong for DSG. What side will take contact first? It's Katarina to take down Soto. Back calls East Claim. That's a big priority. Checked off the list, and now Long becomes the main area of contention. Rise alone as that flank has come up. Big dinks coming through. Time on her side, but it's not enough. Or is it? Just a second away on the defuse, but Lazy Lion can't get it done. Half a second away on the retake are DSG, but XSET scrape out a pistol.
Rise had been quiet this map up until that crucial clutch. The 2-tap onto Misu, so nice, and then just weaving around Pillar to stop the defuse just in time. Outrageous play from her to win out a crucial pistol. That XSET advantage was about to be eroded away. That amazing lead they got off to at the beginning. There's going to be a bit of a tech pause here. Time for DSG
Did Rise
to
break her keyboard with the movement on that round? That's my theory.
It's keycaps flying across the room.
The spacebar ruined. You really hate to see it. But this does give us a chance to kind of revisit this matchup, because for XSET, like we've talked about a lot, this is the team with some of the highest expectations coming into this Game Changers. Top 3 last time, and great performances throughout last year, with picking up Soto, making a change that I think a lot of people have had some discussion about, but who has already proved themselves as a very strong player in this roster, means that they are very clearly expected to win this matchup. But DSG, despite being a new team, has continued to find these upsets to make it through the open qualifiers, to make it into the main event, and now maybe to continue onwards here versus XSET.
I really am blown away by how good DSG look across the board, because when you're talking about a new team, and of course a new team with a lot of talent, you're expecting certain things to be there. Individual play, surely when you just look at the roster, you know that's going to be a major factor for the success. But just the break between the qualifier to now, it looks like they've gotten a lot better. There were hints at what we're seeing right now in those games when we watch them play against Supernova, EG, etc. But they look so much more close to that fully formed state. And there's no way that's the truth, because the team is still so new. But it's incredible that the strides that they've made in that time. The team play that we were seeing on the gun rounds of that first half was really immaculate for a squad that has existed for how long now? A month?
A month or two?
So?
Probably a month, honestly. I mean, who knows how much they were practicing before, but it has not been long for DSG to hit this form. And that's the thing about Game Changers. It feels like every event, there's like those two teams that no one expected to make it in, that just make it in, make some kind of a run happen. And oftentimes it just ends going out in the first or second round. But for DSG, this team has potential, but it does have to start here as we do hop back into things and all those technical issues are wiped away. As a reminder, XSET just picked up a pistol round with an incredible clutch from Rise that'll set them in a good direction on their attacking side.
Exactly how that first half started for XSET. They picked up the pistol, and then they were able to win a string of rounds after that based off a really nice bonus round win. DSG were able to stop that momentum in the first half, seriously win a lot of impressive gun rounds to bring it back. And I mean, somehow this one is doable. I'm not sure how Katarina was able to get 2 kills with a Ghost, full headshots, unstable in with a classic. There is no reason that they should be getting this many kills with this weaponry at this range. Catsme now fully blinded up, just able to jump around the corner. Bob ready for that swing from Misu, but already so much damage done. If Unstable even just gets one more frag, it puts this XSET economy in dire straits.
Soto and Rise both only 50 credits to their name, but money, not the main priority for XSET right now. It's closing this one out. Unstable might be able to recover a weapon here, but it's a double swing from XSET. There's just no way to shut that one down. It's far from clean, but it is another round for XSET picked up on their Antica.
A very good effort from them for sure. Katarina being able to pick up these first 2 kills. Oh, Rise's shoulders KO'd. His bulky shoulders just sticking out of the smoke. So she was able to get a second. Huge damage though. This was in that first half. The major problem for DSG early on was that XSET ran away with the economy. That is not going to be the case here at all.
Absolutely not. And, well, for the alt economy as well, that's in a good place for DSG too. They've been farming this A main orb pretty much every single round, and now Unstable is one away. Katarina, though, gets caught on the geometry towards B long, trying to solo anchor on this side of the map and stall for but a moment. And she falls. This now puts her team in a really rough position here.
Overly ambitious, to say the least, for Katarina. Unstable, though, fortunately, with those picks with the classic on the previous round, gonna have the ult for the retake. That could be the linchpin of a successful round win for the DSG side. Late flank from Soto, but here's that ult. It's gonna be shut down immediately. It is gonna give an opportunity, though, for Hannah to get on the spike. They've stuck it to Hannah, trying to stick it the whole way. Bob gonna shut that down with a shock dart.
Unstable's on the spike.
Unstable is on it as well. They're just trying to stick. It's not gonna work out. Soto comes in for the late flank, and that barrage of utility, the shock darts from Bob, shut it down.
That's 2 out of 2 bonus rounds picked up for XSET in this map. Reminder, 6 out of 9 of their rounds have come from the pistol through the bonus. They're not winning these rifle rounds, but they are still in the lead. So for DSG to come back at this point, especially with their state of economy, it is going to be difficult. But they did do it in that first half.
On the XSET side, though, if you win both pistols and both bonus rounds, you damn well should be closing this game out. If DSG can manage to pull off a victory here, that would be beyond impressive.
Martial up for Katarina. Trying to make a do on the prior round, and Lazy Lion might be the one to do so. 3 clean shots with the Sheriff to find maybe a miracle here for DSG. Remember, this team, half these names people did not know before they were signed by this roster, but they're trying to make their moment here and now. The round will slow. XSET waiting for that Astra util to fall and looking to re-hit into this B site.
It's a crossfire setup. Katarina with a bit of a reposition, the angle on that common default spike plant spot. Cypher going to get some very valuable information, committing 2 ultimates to win out this round. XSET, they want this right now, and they know they can win it. They know they still have this gun advantage. The Lazy Lion putting in significant work to give DSG a chance.
Pat just trying to tap on the spike, hope someone will take a risk through the wall. No one's coming yet. Hannah close. Soto lined up too. A headshot through Hannah's body, and Miso goes down too, so it's only Katarina. Her teammate did some work in this round. But can she finish the job? 1 versus 1. Bladestorm pop. Katarina is committing everything into winning this round, and Soto will wrap close around the side. The blades are whiffing, and so is Soto, but just in the nick of time, they land a shot, and another round that comes down to a 1 versus 1. The third this half. But again, it's XSET to win it.
Both players seem to be succumbing to the pressure of the moment in that duel, but Soto crucial, and another round on for this XSET team, the new player, with a lot to prove. Their first opportunity on a big signed team, and they're absolutely making it work. That was crucial, not just that, obviously, that kill against Katarina, but the first two, that lineup to put them in that advantage situation. And now DSG gonna have to run it back again. The same 4 rounds down that they started this game with. They're gonna have to make a crazy comeback, all gun rounds again.
And XSET will continue their trend of pressuring towards B. This time, they might not finish there, or they might have to now, because Unstable has walked all the way up on Soto and found the Cypher trying to re-clear space in A main. XSET has so consistently been giving away A main control, and it's yet to be punished. A good time for DSG to find that opportunity.
I was waiting and hoping that the operator would get picked up by someone on the DSG side, and it's going to be Katarina holding down B long with it. The hit is going to come in, the smokes, the stuns to force her off that line, and Bunny be so aggressive into the side. An excellent first entry. Katarina was just being absolutely just bogged down by so much utility. No escape from back hauls. 3-on-3 retake, absolutely doable for the DSG side. It's just about dealing with these crossfires. This looks like a pretty sound setup for XSET. It's really about Bob and Katsumi playing off of each other when the DSG players start to pull in. The flash is going to go back, hauls for a bit of info. It's not actually going to tag either player. That could give some significant false info. The player in lane is going to be dealt with, and now it's just lazy line in the 1v2. Made magic happen in the previous round. The flash is excellent for the first. Katsumi and another, or rather Katsumi in this one-on-one. Time is dwindling so low though. Lazy line. Do they have enough time? No, they don't even have close to enough time. Unfortunate. Again, just so close for DSG, but barely falling short, tripping up just before the finish line again.
It really seems like time is the enemy for DSG. These retakes have been so slow consistently to not be able to finish it at the final mile here. For XSET, I think a bit of a blunder early on there. They've continued to just go be long every single round on this attacking side, and did get exploited with that fast flank pushing through, but again, it wasn't enough. It seems like XSET have won so many of these 4v5 situations.
Timeout going to be called here from DSG. An absolute necessity at this point in the game. Feeling a bit gutted for how this half has gone for them so far, being so close on so many rounds, whether it be the gun rounds or the ecos, but XSET, that poise, that experience coming through in every clutch situation for them, that experienced side. They've been playing together for the entirety of this year up until this point. Of course, Bob and Katsumi with each other for even longer than that, winning championships together. This new side of DSG, they've looked strong, they've shown some resilience, but at this point, a massive comeback would need to be had.
Back into things here. 11-6, and what's the money looking like? Not great for the side of DSG. They'll try and rally together something of a buy in this round, but it's really not everything you would want. And XSET, for the first time, seem to have their sights set elsewhere. Bob lining up a dart early here, maybe some kind of combination with this Hunter's Fury. You see on the other side, Molly set up for DSG too. It'll be a brawl towards A-Name. Flash around the corner, dash back from Bunny B, and no one's looking at him. Perfect work from them. Bunny B finds 2, and Bob's Hunter's Fury comes in for the 3rd as well. This is looking like map point here for XSET, as it's only Misu and Hana to try and retake.
Lazy Lion feeling the flow state, bought up a hero Vandal into this round, but gets torched by Bob's ult and Art. Just gonna bring things to a slow end on this round, unless Hannah with that recovered rifle given to her from the hands of Unstable, who found that one sheriff kill. Just gonna probably end up saving it here into the next to make sure that the entire team can buy up.
So 12-6 we go. XSET, this has been a dominant map thus far. DSG had their opportunities. It was a rally in the first half to claim the majority of their rounds, but XSET, propelled by the double win of the pistol and bonus, it felt like really a formality for them to close this one out.
Of course, DSG's map pick. A strong map for both teams, though. And certainly, hope is not all lost for DSG, as the next map, Bind, has also been really strong for both of these teams in GC2 so far. So it doesn't feel over by any means, and we've seen DSG play some excellent gun rounds, but as you said, Mimi, it is so hard to win a map if you lose both pistols and both bonuses. Huge credit to XSET for that, but that is so rough for the DSG side.
It's also pretty hard if you haven't won a single defense-sided round. XSET yet to lose one on this half. They are on a roll, and they're going to try and roll that straight into Bind here. As again, it's quick towards B long. Bit of a trap play setup, though. Flash for Unstable, not able to get a kill, and the suppression from that KO knife might punish this whole setup. Molly's coming in. The drone here, Katarina, can she swing to support? Not in time. Bunny B, supported by utility, cleanly takes down 2. Aster Wall will be committed, and Katarina has to make a stand for herself close in the corner. Dash activated, trying to find a kill here onto Bunny B, who's already pushed her way through, and it's Bob instead to pick up to only Misu in a 1 versus 4. And it might just be a foregone conclusion. A neural back spotting her out. Bob pushing forward, and not much time left for him. Bunny B closes things out, a 3K for them, and a 13-6 victory for XSET. Not a single round drop in the second half as they take their opponent's map choice.
XSET just barreling down long on that last round. Perfect utility, perfect swings, really finding their form on that attack half. A great map from them, but still, I am holding out hope for DSG. They really did play a lot of impressive rounds, specifically in that first half, of course. And on that opposing side, I mean, it just can't be understated. XSET won both pistols. They were able to win both bonuses. That is just an unbelievable advantage for them. They take the map pick of DSG. But again, heading over to Bind, still in this tournament, it's been a solid map for both teams. It's where DSG run their crazy Yoru comp that's found success. So not out of it yet by any means.
Well, DSG, a new team with high expectations, but after a rough start in this series, there were some close rounds, but not enough to make it a close map. We'll have to see how much can they rally in map number 2, or will it be XSET closing things out? We've got a short break, but it'll be Sierra and the analyst desk to break it all down after this.